Great day, Star Louisians. Welcome to the 7th week of our video discussion. In the previous meetings, you have learned that an algebraic expression where all variables are expressed with non-negative integer exponents is a polynomial. Polynomial is a special type of algebraic expression that represents a sum of one or more terms containing a whole number exponents on the variable. Remember that when we deal with polynomials, it can be classified according to its number of terms. And classifications of polynomials are the following. We have monomial, if we are dealing with one term, binomial, two terms, trinomial, three terms, and multinomial, more than three terms. The degree of a polynomial in multiple variables is the highest sum of exponents of all variables among the terms in that expression. The leading term contains the degree of the polynomial, while the leading coefficient is the numerical coefficient of the leading term. Polynomial is already written in standard form if the degree of the terms are being arranged in descending order and the leading coefficient is in a positive sign. We have also discussed in the previous meetings the concept of adding and subtracting polynomials. Take note, we can only add similar or like terms, or we can only combine similar or like terms. Addition and subtraction of polynomials can be done vertically or horizontally. For this week's discussion, you will learn how to multiply polynomials. Just as we can multiply numbers, we can also multiply polynomials. And to start with, let us discuss now the concept of multiplying polynomials. So last week, we have discussed the addition and subtraction of polynomials. Now we proceed with the next operation, and that is the multiplication of polynomials. So remember, in multiplying polynomials, we apply one of the laws of exponents, and that is the product rule. Okay? And when we say product rule, let us recall that the product of powers of the same base is being obtained by adding their exponents. That is, if we have a raised to m times a raised to n, what can you notice on the bases of the two exponential expressions? They are the same. And what will you need to do is you just have to copy the base and you have to add the exponents. So that's the product of powers. Okay, we now proceed with the first one, that is multiplying a monomial by a monomial. Okay, so when you multiply now a monomial, we try to define once again the term monomial. We are dealing with one term. One term multiplied by another one term. Or in short, monomial by a monomial. Their product will be a monomial only. So kapag pinag-multiply nyo monomial by a monomial, you expect that the product is always a monomial. Because once we deal with a monomial, it is an expression that has only one term. Okay? And the coefficients of the monomials are multiplied together, and then the variables are also being multiplied using now one of the laws of exponents. Now, we try to understand or to check kung paano na-solve yung example number 1. So we have here, number 1, 4x cubed. X cubed, the quantity 4x cubed times 2x raised to 4. So kung makikita nyo, we have here the quantity 4x cubed times 2x raised to 4. What can you notice on the given expressions? They are both monomial. And we have to get their product. And what will we do first? We have to multiply the numerical coefficients. When we say numerical coefficients, we are dealing with the numbers or the constants beside the literal coefficient. So kapag numerical coefficients ang tinatanong, yung number lang na nandun sa tabi ng mga literal coefficients. Okay? So, the numerical coefficient of our first monomial is 4 multiplied by the numerical coefficient of our second monomial, that is 2. So, 4 times 2, and then what will you do with the literal coefficients? You also have to multiply that one. Applying now the rule of one rule of the exponents, or law of exponents, that is the product rule. Okay, so you multiply together the numerical coefficients. 4 times 2, that will give you a product of 8. And then applying now the product rule, same base, what will you do with the exponent? You have to add the exponents. Keep the base, that is x variable, and then you have to add the exponents. We have 3 plus 4, that will give you 7. Therefore, the product now is 8x raised to 7. See to it that you have simplified, okay, the given expressions or polynomials in its simplest form. Okay? Next, number 2. 12y times 5y. Still, we are under multiplying a monomial by a monomial. Why? Because on the first expression, we only have one term, while on the second one, still one term. 12 times 5, that will give you 60, while y times y, that will give you y squared. Following now the rules or the steps, we have to multiply the numerical coefficients together and the literal coefficients together. And then after that, you have to keep the base and add the exponents, applying now the product rule. And then you have to simplify your answer. That is why the final answer would be 60y squared. So that's the product now when you multiply 12y by 5y. Next, number 3, we have the quantity negative 8x raised to 5 times 11x cubed. Take note, you have to carry the sign of the numerical coefficient when you are multiplying it to another numerical coefficient. Okay? So on the first expression, on the first monomial, the numerical coefficient is negative 8. So you have to bring down negative 8. And then you have to multiply it on the second numerical coefficient, or on the numerical coefficient of the second monomial, and that is 11. So negative 8 times 11, that will give you a product of negative 88. And then what will you do with the variables or the literal coefficients? You have to multiply them, applying now the product rule. Keep the base, or keep the same base or the common base, and then you have to add the exponents, so that it will give you now a product of negative 88x raised to 8. Where did we get negative 88? Negative 8 times positive 11. And that will give you now negative 88x raised to 8. Okay, next. May I give you another example? Say for instance, we have the quantity negative 2 x squared y multiplied by negative 13. Okay, so what can you notice on the given? We have one monomial multiplied by another monomial. So the steps that we need to follow, or the rules that we need to follow, are the rules indicated under multiplying now monomial by another monomial. So we have to multiply the numerical coefficients together. This will give us now negative 2 times negative 13, and then literal coefficients together. Since we cannot see any literal coefficient under the second monomial, we just simply bring down the literal coefficients under the first monomial. So ito lang yung may literal coefficients, yan yung meron siyang x squared y. Wala naman tayong nakikitang variables dito, that's why wala tayong i-multiply sa x squared y. And then we have to simplify our answer. Negative 2 times negative 13, this will give us a product of positive 26. And then you just need to bring down x squared y, kasi wala naman tayong i-multiply sa kanya. So this will serve now as our final answer. Okay, so this is example number 4. Next, another example, we have the quantity 6x cubed y squared multiplied by 9xy raised to 4. Recalling the rules, under multiplying monomial by monomial, we have to multiply first the numerical coefficients together, followed by the literal coefficients together. So we have 6, positive 6 times positive 9, and then we also have x cubed times x, and then y squared times y raised to 4. Applying now the product rule, you have to keep the base and then add the exponents on this literal coefficients. We first multiply 6 by 9. This will give us a product of 54. 9 times 6 is equal to 54. And then x cubed times x, copy the base, copy the common base, and what will you do with the exponent? You are going to add 3 plus 1. And then we also have y squared plus 4. So this will give us now 54 x raised to 3 plus 1. This will give us a sum of 4. While y raised to 2 plus 4, this will give us a sum of 6. So our final answer would be equal to 54x raised to 4, y raised to 6. That's the product now when you multiply 6x cubed y squared by 9xy raised to 4. Okay? Last example under multiplying monomial by a monomial. Say for instance, we have 2m raised to 11, n raised to 7, multiplied by 5m raised to 9, n raised to 6. So it's very easy. Multiply nyo muna yung numerical coefficients or yung numbers doon sa two monomials. We have 2 times 5. And then literal coefficients together, m raised to 11 plus 9. And then we also have n raised to 7 plus 6. And this will give us now 2 times 5, it's equal to 10. M raised to 11 plus 9, that's 20. And n raised to 7 plus 6, this will give us 13. So our final answer would be 10m raised to 20 n raised to 13. So that's the product now when you are to multiply 2 raised to 11 n raised to 7 by 5m raised to 9 n raised to 6. Okay? So that's under multiplying a monomial by another monomial. Okay, next. Let us now proceed with multiplying a monomial by a polynomial. Okay? So how do we deal with this one? What are the rules that we need to follow when we are multiplying now a monomial by a polynomial? When you are multiplying now a polynomial by a monomial, okay, it's just the use now of the distributive property. Okay, so just using the distributive property to turn the problem into a bunch of monomials being multiplied. So ang i-apply lang po natin dito ay yung distributive property. When we say distributive property, there is this expression, okay, or monomial expression beside a polynomial. What will you do with the monomial? You have to distribute it in each term that you can see inside the parenthesis, which contains now the polynomial expression. So as you can see on our first example, so we have here 8 multiplied by 3x plus 4y. So what are we going to do here is we just have to multiply now 8 by 3x or distribute the constant 8, ayan, by 3x and 8 to 4y. So we have now 8 times 3x plus 8 times 4y. 8 times 3x, that will give us a product of 24x, while 8 times 4y, that will give us a product of 32y. And the product now is equal to 24x plus 32y. y. So when you multiply 8 by 3x plus 4y, you apply now the distributive property and then go back with the rules for multiplying monomials. Number 2, we have 2x times the quantity 5x minus 8y plus 9z. What can you notice on the polynomial given? It's a trinomial. Why? Because it's made up of 3 terms. So we simply distribute the monomial, which is equal to 2x, to each term that we can see inside the parenthesis that contains our polynomial. So 2x times 5x plus 2x times negative y. You don't forget to carry the sign, okay, of the terms included inside the parenthesis. Then we also have 2x times positive 9z. So we have now 2 times 5, and then that will give you 10. X times x, that will give you x squared. Unahin niyo muna yung mga numerical coefficients, followed by the literal coefficients. We have 2 times negative 8, that will give you negative 16xy, while 2 times 9, that will give you 18. Then x times z, that will give you xz. Okay, so the product now, when you multiply 2x by 5x minus 8y plus 9z, it's equal to 10x squared minus 16xy plus 18xz. Number 3, we have 3x cubed times the quantity 6x cubed plus 11x squared. Ganun pa rin, you apply the distributive property. So we have now 3x cubed times 6x cubed. It will give us 18x raised to 6. It's not raised to 9 because we apply here the product rules. Same base or common base, copy the common base, and then you have to add the exponents. Plus 3 times 11, it's equal to 33. Then you add the exponents, copy x. X is raised to 3 plus 2. So this will give us now a product of 18x raised to 6 plus 33x raised to 5. Number 4, we have now negative 2x raised to 2 times 7x raised to 5 plus 4x cubed plus 15x squared. What can you notice on the polynomial given? It's a trinomial. Why? Because it's made up of 3 terms. So we now have, we distribute negative 2x squared in each term that we can see inside the parenthesis of the polynomial given. So we have negative 2x squared times 7x raised to 5. This will give us negative 14x raised to 7. While negative 2x raised to 2 times 4x cubed, it will give us negative 8x raised to 5. And negative 2x raised to 2 times 15x squared, it's equal to negative 30x raised to 4. Therefore, the product now, when you multiply negative 2x squared times 7x raised to 5 plus 4x cubed plus 15x squared is equal to negative 14x raised to 7 minus 8x raised to 5 minus 30x raised to 4. I hope that's clear. Let's proceed with the next. Okay, another example under multiplying a monomial by a polynomial. Say for instance, we have, this is example number 5, 5xy, or the quantity 5xy times 11x raised to 8 y raised to 7 plus 10x raised to 5 plus 9x raised to 3. We now have 5xy times, we distribute this one, the monomial, in each term that we can see inside the parenthesis of the polynomial. Ito po yung given na polynomial natin. Okay? So 5xy times 11x raised to 8y raised to 7. So 5 times 11, that will give us 55. X raised to 1 plus 8. Y raised to 1 plus 7. Okay? Plus 5xy times 10x raised to 5. So we now have 5 times 10, that will give us 50. X raised to 1 plus 5. Y. Kasi wala namang y yung second term ng polynomial. And then plus 5xy times 9x cubed. So we have 5 times 9, that will give you a product of 45. Then x raised to 1 plus 3 And then you just need to bring down y kasi wala naman siyang y dito na variable sa last term ng polynomial. And then you simplify. We have now 55 x raised to 9, y raised to 8, plus 50 x raised to 6, y, plus 45 x raised to 4, y. So this is now our final answer. Okay, next. How about if we have example number 6, the quantity 3m raised to 8 n raised to 6 times 4m raised to 4 n raised to 4. 4m raised to 4, tama? N raised to 4 minus 9n squared n squared. Okay, so we have to distribute the monomial in each term that we can see inside the parenthesis, where we can now have, or we can now tell that this is the polynomial given that is being multiplied by a monomial. So we have to distribute 3m raised to 8 n raised to 6 to 4m raised to 4 n raised to 4. 3 times 4, that will give you a product of 12. M raised to 8 times m raised to 4. Keep the common base. What will you do with the exponent? You have to add it. 8 plus 4, that will give you 12. And then n, keep the base, common base, which is n. Add the exponent, that will give you 10. Minus. Okay? Minus na natin kasi positive times negative is negative. 3 times 9, that is 27. M raised to, add the exponents, 8 plus 2 is 10, 6 plus 2, 8. N raised to 8. So this is now our final answer. Okay, so that's under multiplying monomial by a polynomial. Let's proceed with the next one. We have multiplying a binomial by a binomial. Okay, pag sinabi nating binomial by a binomial, we are dealing with two terms. Okay? So when multiplying a binomial by a binomial, each term of the first binomial must be multiplied by each term of the second binomial. Like terms are then combined when multiplying two binomials. 4 multiplications must take place. Okay? Paano yan? So we have now example number 1. We have ayan. So x plus 3, the quantity x plus 3 times x plus 7. As you can see, there are two binomials given and we have to get their products. Okay? So paano? We have to distribute now the terms of the first binomial to the second binomial. So we have now x times x plus 7 plus 3 times x plus 7. We now have x times x, that is x squared, plus x times 7, that is 7x. Okay, ito na yun. And then the second one, we have 3 times x, that is 3x. 3 times 7, that is 21. And then we have to combine like terms. 7x plus 3x, that will give us a sum of 10x. So we have now x squared plus 10x plus 21. So the product now, when you multiply x plus 3 by x plus 7 is equal to x squared plus 10x plus 21. That's how you multiply now binomial by a binomial. Next, x plus 2 times x plus 9. So we have to multiply or distribute the terms of the first binomial to the second binomial. So x times x plus 9 and then 2 times x plus 9. X times x, x squared. X times 9, 9x. 2 times x, 2x. 2 times 9, 18. And then we have to combine like terms, which are 9x and 2x. X squared plus 11x plus 18 is our final answer. Number 3, we have x plus 5 times x minus 4. Still, we follow the same rule, the same steps, and this will give us a product of x squared plus x minus 20. You just need to distribute the terms of the first binomial to the second binomial, and then you have to multiply monomials. After multiplying monomials, don't forget to combine like terms. We also have 3x plus 4 times 5x plus 7. So 3x times the first term of the first binomial, 3x, multiply it to the second binomial, that is 5x plus 7. The second term to the second binomial given, 5x plus 7. After that, multiplying monomials, we have to distribute 3x times 5x and then 3x times 7. And then 4 times 5x and then 4 times 7. So this will give us a product now of 15x squared plus 21x plus 20x plus 28. And then don't forget to combine like terms. Therefore, our final answer should be 15x squared plus 41x plus 28. How about if we have now this example? Fifth example under this concept. So we have now, for example, 6x plus 3 times 2y minus 5z. Let's apply the rules we have used a while ago with our first 4 examples. So i-distribute natin tong first term ng binomial to the second binomial. So we have 6x times 2y minus 5z plus, distribute natin yung second term ng binomial doon sa second binomial na given, 3 times 2y minus 5z. And then, we apply now distributive property pa rin under multiplying monomial by a binomial or by a polynomial. So, we have 6x times 2y. That will give us 12xy. 6x times negative 5y, that will give us negative 30xz. Okay? Plus 3 times 2y, we have 6y. And then 3 times negative 5z, that will give us negative 15z. And then we combine like terms if there are like terms. Meron ba? Meron bang xy? Wala. Xz? Wala rin. Y? Wala. Z? Wala. Therefore, our final answer is 12xy minus 30xz plus 6y minus 15z. Okay, yan na po yung final answer natin. Okay. Next. Okay. So, a shortcut method is being used when you are multiplying now a binomial by a binomial. Okay? And this shortcut method is called the FOIL method. So, this can be used in multiplying two binomials. FOIL is an acronym that stands for the sum of the products of the first terms, outer terms, inner terms, and the last terms. Okay, paano yan? So, let's discuss the FOIL method using the different examples presented. So, we have now x plus 3. We use the same example para mas maintindihan nyo kung anong mas madali between the two. Okay? So, we have here x plus 3 times x plus 7. So, first terms muna tayo. First terms. What is the first term of our first binomial? It's x. Multiply it to the first term of the second binomial. That is x also. So, kaya FOIL is, we are dealing with f. Letter f, it's under first terms. Okay? So, we get the product of the first terms. X times x, it will give us x squared. Next, we proceed with the outer terms. Outer terms of the first binomial, multiply it to the outer terms of the second binomial. Outer, yung nasa labas. So, we have x times, ano yung nasa labas ng second binomial? 7. So, x times 7, that will give us a product of 7x. Next, inner terms, nasa loob. So, ito po yung nasa loob ng first binomial, 3. And then, yung sa second binomial, it's x. So, 3 times x is 3x. And then, the last terms of the two binomials. The last term of the first binomial is 3, while the last term of the second binomial is equal to 7. And then, we have to get the product. So, 3 times 7 is equal to 21. And then, after that one, you just have to list all the products na nakuha nyo following now the FOIL method. So we have x squared plus 7x plus 3x plus 21. And then we have to combine like terms. So 7x plus 3x, that will give us 10x. Then the final product now is equal to x squared plus 10x plus 21. What did you notice? Okay, we have arrived at the same answer. Okay, after applying now the FOIL method, which is the shortcut method when you are multiplying two binomials. Another one, we have x minus 5 times 4x plus 11. So first terms together, x times 4x, ayan po, you just need to follow the arrow. X times 4x, that will give us 4x squared. And then outer terms, x times 11, 11x. Inner terms, negative 5 times 4x, negative 20x. Don't forget to carry the sign of the numerical coefficients. Okay, that is negative 5 or the constants. Negative 5 yun, hindi 5, positive 5 ha. So negative 5 times 4x, it's equal to negative 20x. And then the last terms, we have negative 5 times 11, it's a negative 55. And then simplify, it will give us now 4x squared plus 11x minus 20x minus 55. We have to combine like terms. There are like terms in the given expression. We have 11x minus 20x, that will give us difference of negative 9x. Therefore, our final answer is equal to 4x squared minus 9x minus 55. Another one, we also have 6x plus 3 times 2y minus 5z. Okay, follow nyo lang ulit yung FOIL method. First, F stands for first terms, product of the first terms. 6x times 2y, 12xy. O stands for the outer terms, product of the outer terms. 6x times negative 5z is negative 30xz. And then I stands for the inner terms. We have 3 times 2y is equal to 6y. And L stands for the last terms. We have 3 times negative 5z is equal to negative 15z. And the product now, after combining like terms, we have now 12xy minus 30xz plus 6y minus 15z. So that's how simple FOIL method is. Okay, another example under FOIL method. Number 4. 4x minus 3 times 3x plus 2. Okay, so we have now follow the FOIL method. First terms together, outer terms, inner terms, and last terms. You have to get the product of the first terms. First term of the first binomial is 4x. Okay, times the first term of the second binomial, it's 3x. 4x times 3x, it's equal to 12x squared. And then the outer terms of the first binomial is 4x times the outer term of the second binomial, that is 2. So we have 4x times positive 2. It will give us a product of 8x. Next, we also have inner terms. Inner terms of the first binomial, we have negative 3. Inner term of the second binomial is 3x. So we have negative 3 times 3x. This will give us a product of negative 9x. While last terms, we have negative 3 times positive 2. So negative 3 times positive 2. It will give us now a product of negative 6. And then after that, you just need to copy all the products na nakuha nyo when you followed now FOIL method. So you have 12x squared plus, bakit plus? Kasi nga positive yung 8x, so plus automatically it's plus sign. Plus 8x minus 9x minus 6. So combine like terms, the product now will be equal to 12x squared positive 8x minus 9x, that will give you negative x minus 6. And this will serve now as our final answer. Okay, last example under this concept. Say for instance, we have 2x plus 6 times x minus 1. FOIL pa rin ang gagamitin. Okay, first terms together, we have 2x times x. And then, outer terms, 2x times negative 1. Inner terms, we have 6 times x. And the last terms, we have 6 times negative 1. After identifying all those parts of the given binomials, we are now ready to get the product. 2x times x, 2x squared. 2x times negative 1, negative 2x. 6 times x, we have 6x. And 6 times negative 1, we have negative 6. And then you just need to bring down 2x squared minus 2x plus 6x minus 6. Combine like terms. This will give us now 2x squared plus 4x minus 6. And this will serve as our final answer. Okay? And so, yan ang concept ng multiplying polynomials or multiplication of polynomials. So, remember, multiplying polynomials is a bit more challenging than adding and subtracting polynomials. We have to use now the distributive property to multiply each term in the first polynomial by each term in the second polynomial. We then combine like terms after that one, and we can also use now the shortcut method, which is what we call now the FOIL method. And the FOIL method is being used when you are multiplying two binomials. And certain special products follow patterns that we can memorize and use instead of multiplying the polynomials by hand each time. So when a monomial is multiplied by another monomial, their product will always be a monomial. And a monomial is an expression that has only one term. Okay, so those are the things that you need to remember. Also, in multiplying similar binomials, the product is a trinomial. Otherwise, it's a polynomial with 4 terms. Only like terms are being combined. So those are the things that you need to ponder when you are dealing with multiplying polynomials. So thank you so much. I hope you have learned something for this week's discussion. If you have queries or questions, feel free to comment it using the comment box. Goodbye, everyone.